so I'm gonna start off with a story about my uncle who fought in Vietnam. So you can tell by the way he acts that he suffers from PTSD from being in the Vietnam War. And I remember a specific story on when we were visiting my family up in New York, and my brother and my dad were talking to him outside, and I decided to go outside and join him in the conversation. So I was walking up behind him, and he turned around really fast, and he looked at me like he was ready to fight me almost. And he looked at me and he said, "Don't ever walk up behind me like that again." And I thought he was just messing with me because I hadn't seen him, in a while. And he was like, "No, I'm serious. Don't walk up behind me like that again." And so I just kind of looked at him, and you could just tell the way he was acting in his eyes that he kind of had a flashback to being back in Nam, and he was just suffering from emotional stress and PTSD. So, what I'm going to talk to you about the problem today is that vets people from Vietnam and in any war that they fought in, many of them don't seek out the DAV for help whenever they come back. And that's a problem for the DAV because many of them end up homelessness or, they just suffer from emotional trauma because they don't have anyone to talk to. So today I'm going to tell you why it's important to support the DAV. First, I'm going to talk about the causes and effects from, the harms and effects from it. Then I'm going to talk about the causes, and then I'm going to talk about the solutions on how we as a society can help fix this problem. So a little bit about the DAV. It's a nonprofit organization. It guarantees a lifetime support to the DAVs. And in 2015, they raised $4 billion in new and retroactive benefits to the vets that are part of the organization. It's composed of 1,300 different chapters in different states around the country, and there's approximately 1.3 million members, and this is all according to the DAV.org. So about the harms and effects, many vets, like I mentioned, suffer from PTSD, and according to the National Center for PTSD, 15% of Vietnam vets suffer from PTSD. So that's one of the problems whenever that the DAV is coming to whenever they don't come to the DAV for help. And according to David W. Peters from the Huffington Post, he served in Iraq, and he mentioned that many vets don't share their stories or talk to anyone about their problems because they feel that their story would be too much for others and their loved ones to hear about it. Stories about blood and war and people getting blown up, they just feel like they won't be able to relate to them. So they really have no one to talk to, and that can cause problems to them. And another problem for vets not seeking out the DAV for help is that many of them end up homelessness. And according to the National Alliance to End Homelessness, in January 2014, 49,333 vets were homeless in America. So the causes of this problem is that many vets aren't being reached out by the community, and they feel left out. They have no one to talk to, and many of them suffer from emotional stress, like I said, because they don't have anyone to talk to. So some of the solutions that we as a community can do to help these vets, according to the DAV.org, there's 3 simple steps. You can donate whatever you can give to the DAV. This helps thousands of vets every year get up on their feet, and they can help them any way they can with your donations. You can also drive a van for the DAV to and from appointments. You can help vets go to and from appointments, and this helps vets live high-quality lives, and it makes them feel more like a civilian because they can go out and about without being locked up all day because they can't use any other motor functions if some of them are disabled. And the last one, you can just simply volunteer. Many of the times, they need volunteers just to go in and help, just sit down and listen to the stories of these vets, so they can get that off their chest instead of having it bottled up inside of them, and that causing emotional trauma to them. So today, my goal is to tell you why it's important to help support the DAV. First, I talked about the harms and effects. Then I talked about the causes. Finally, I talked about the solutions. Did you know you pressed the button?
I did press the button. It was going. It's still going.
Oh, okay. So we're going. So finally, I talked about the solutions. All right. So the closing line: we must act now as a community to help protect these vets who made the ultimate sacrifice to protect us while they were overseas fighting for our country. So no matter who you are or what level of experience you come from, you can stand by our nations and help them with the littlest things, to help them get back on their feet. Thank you for coming and listening to me today.
Thank you. Pretty darn cute.